Hi guys, welcome to our daily encounter. One of the things that stands out in our Old Testament reading today is the contrast between Eli's sons and Samuel. Eli's sons were very wicked. They were defiling the sacrifices, they were sleeping with women there at the door of the tabernacle, basically making a mockery of God's house. And yet, that story is also ran parallel with the story of Samuel as he's growing up. It says in chapter 2 and verse 26, "Now the young boy Samuel was growing in stature and in favor both with Yahweh and with man." And those are the two things that Eli's sons were not doing. They were not growing in favor both with Yahweh and with men. Matter of fact, they were doing the opposite. People were very much disgruntled in the way that they were handling things. Yahweh himself was pronouncing curses that would come upon not only them, but on their family and future generations. They were the complete opposite of that. But Samuel is one who found favor. And as we're reading the story, he finds favor in our eyes as well, because he comes as something refreshing in this story. As we're reading this bleak story about Eli's sons and how wicked and horrible they were, every time Samuel shows up, it's like a breath of fresh air. We read about him in this verse, growing up before the Lord in favor before God and man. And then also we read about him hearing from God. He's fast becoming a known prophet among the people. He is salt in the world. Even though everything else looked bleak, even though he was in the midst of wicked people, he's shown as something delightful and something savory. And as we think about that, we should be inspired by that. We too live in a world where there's a lot of wickedness, where there's a lot of evil, where there's a lot of things that are going on in this world that are not pleasant and especially not pleasant, and in some cases very evil. And we have an opportunity to make a choice. Are we going to add to that evil? Are we going to follow after the example of Eli's sons and walk in wickedness and selfishness? Or are we going to walk the pathway of Samuel and be that breath of fresh air for people in a wicked world, where people see our lives and say, these are people who are living life the way life ought to be lived, and bring refreshing to people, to be, as Christ said, to be the salt of the earth, to be that which brings taste and brings flavor to a distasteful world. Are we willing to do that? Are we willing to stand up and be the people of God, and to be the people that will rise up above the low standards of society, and rise above to a higher standard, to the standard of God, and to honor him and glorify him in the life that we live, as Samuel did in our reading today? So hopefully we'll be inspired by Samuel to realize that just because we might be in the midst of evil, whether it's in our family, whether it's in our job site, whether it's in our society, are we going to follow after that evil, or are we going to rise above that evil and be lights in the world, to be people who rise above the evil, that bring salt to an unsavory world, and people who will bring a wonderful and savory sacrifice to the Lord? Hopefully we will be inspired to do this as we do our reading today. With that, guys, I do thank you for watching the video today. Hope you guys have a great day. Love you guys. God bless.